15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
Hello, welcome to Celebration Television Newsdesk. I am Ruth Obozege. Many thanks for joining us. Here are top stories for the day. Nigeria reps summon Ngige Adamo and ASUU over IPPIS. Ugandans arrested for giving fake coronavirus vaccine. Joe Biden extends lead over rival Sanders in Democratic presidential race. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, churches respond with practical solutions to COVID-19 outbreak. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari establishes a committee to assess COVID-19's impact on Nigeria's 2020 budget. I'm a Yoruba boy, Joshua tells Queen Elizabeth. The details of the news will be after this time out. Please do well to join us again. Welcome back. The House of Representatives have resolved to intervene in the crisis between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities over the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System. The leadership of the House has scheduled a meeting with the Minister of Education, Adamu, Minister of Labour, Employment and Productivity, Chris Ngige, and President of ASUU, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, on Wednesday, which is today. The federal government had made enrollment on IPPIS platform compulsory for all its workers, which ASUU has opposed. At the plenary on Tuesday, a member of the House, Mr. Dachong Bagos, had moved a motion of urgent public importance on the matter. While moving the motion, Bagos said the House notes that ASUU has, on the 9th of March 2020, after its National Executive Council meeting held in Enugu, resolved to go on a 2-week warning strike. Adopting the motion, the House resolved that the leadership should meet with the Ministries of Labour, Employment and Productivity and Education as well as ASUU on the crisis. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, later asked the clerk to the House, Patrick Giwa, to write the ministers and ASUU president, inviting them to a meeting at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Away from that story, coronavirus is affecting the Nigeria economy, President Buhari tells health workers. The President, Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria, has called on health workers to be patient with his regime to address their demands as the country tackles coronavirus. He stated that the outbreak of the disease had posed fresh challenges for the economy, especially the impact on crude oil revenue. President Buhari made the appeal in Abuja when members of the joint health sector unions and Assembly Healthcare Professionals Associations visited him at the presidential villa on Tuesday. He said the case is certainly receiving attention, but they must bear in mind the condition that the country is right now. Coronavirus is not improving matters, he added. The unions have been demanding an upward review of the consolidated health salary structure. In addition to Kone heads, the workers have also protested against the non-payment of their April and May 2018 salaries. They have also pressed for the gazetting of scheme of service for nurses and the payment of teaching allowances. In 2018, Joeshu threatened a 7-day warning strike over the issues. However, meeting with President Buhari on Tuesday where the issues were again raised, the president urged patience and appealed for support to enable the country to tackle the coronavirus threat first. Delta Nigeria Steel pensioners seek National Assembly intervention over unpaid benefits. Former workers of the defunct Delta Steel Company DSC Limited, Delta State, Nigeria, have pleaded with President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, to intervene over the unpaid 150% and 30% pension increment approved for public pensioners in the country 21 years ago. Under the aegis of concerned pensioners, Delta Steel Company DSC Limited, Odion Ighalo, they contended that they have written several letters of complaints about the unpaid increases to no avail. According to the pensioners in a petition by Chairman and Secretary of Concerned Pensioners DSC Limited, Mr. Mokoro Isaac and Obalaye Edijana, respectively, they had been passing through untold hardships and frustration as they could no longer meet their obligations to their immediate families, among other responsibilities. Away from that, and in Uganda, Africa precisely, some persons have been arrested for giving fake coronavirus vaccine. Police in Uganda are investigating a father and daughter for allegedly giving people a fake vaccine against the coronavirus, which causes the COVID-19 disease. There is currently no inoculation against the disease, which has killed more than 3,800 people around the world. There are currently 18 confirmed cases of coronavirus in sub-Saharan Africa, but none in Uganda. However, police say that they started receiving information on Friday that people in the district of Mayuge, 120 kilometers, equal to 74 miles, east of the capital, Kampala, we are being given a concussion to supposedly inculcate them against the coronavirus. They then arrested two people believed to be behind the scam. Both have since been released on police bond pending further investigations. Samples of the liquid they allegedly gave victims orally have been taken to the government forensic lab in Kampala for testing. It is not known how many people could have taken the concussion. However, a police spokesman said they believe the suspects gave the fake vaccine to victims for free, with hopes of later charging for it once demand had been created. Now, despite Uganda not recording cases of COVID-19, there has been growing concern about the disease. From Uganda to South Africa, court clears Ramaphosa of corruption charges. South Africa's High Court has dismissed the findings of an anti-corruption investigator who said the President Cyril Ramaphosa has deliberately misled Parliament over a campaign donation. Public Protector Busisiwe Mekwabani showed a lack of knowledge of the law and did not have the power to investigate the donation, the court ruled. Judges also dismissed her call for the president to be investigated for possible money laundering. The ruling is a major boss for him, they noted. If Ms. Makwabani's findings were upheld, Mr. Ramaphosa would have been under pressure to resign for lying to Parliament. Now, we'll take a short break now, and when we return, we shall be taking a look at news from the United States of America. Please join us again.
Comes to Calabar. It's going to be 2 days, wonderful experience, move of God, outstanding manifestation of the Holy Spirit. The Bible said, this gospel shall be preached, and then shall the end come. Tell as much people you can tell that Johnson Suleiman is coming to Calabar. Be my guest as I come to Calabar.
Shout glory! Calabar, the people's paradise.
I am coming to Cross River State, Calabar. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward so much to being in Calabar. I was in Calabar some years ago and it was mind-blowing.
If you must be great and you desire a great future, then you must be ready to fight.
Every part of the South State, be my guest as we gather in Calabar. The venue is now being scrolled. Greater works comes to Calabar. It's going to be 2 days, wonderful experience, move of God, outstanding manifestation of the Holy Spirit. The Bible said, this gospel shall be preached, and then shall the end come. Tell as much people you can tell that Johnson Suleiman is coming to Calabar. Be my guest as I come to Calabar.
Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining, and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk.
Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk. The whole truth.
Thank you so much for being there and welcome back. Now, in the U.S., Joe Biden extends lead over rival Sanders in Democratic presidential race. Joe Biden has cemented his position as front-runner in the Democratic race to take on President Donald Trump in November's White House election. The former vice president is projected to win Michigan, the biggest prize of primary voting, on Tuesday and extend his lead over Bernie Sanders. Mr. Biden's chances recovered with big wins on Super Tuesday, after which several former rivals endorsed him. It is unclear, however, if Mr. Sanders will fight on until the party convention in July. The Democratic next big election milestone is in a week's time, when 577 delegates are up for grabs. To secure the nomination, a candidate needs the support of 1,991 delegates. Now, before Tuesday's vote, Mr. Biden had 648 to Mr. Sanders 563. However, Joe Biden's campaign looked all but lost at the start of the primary season in February. The former vice president, who is 77 years old, finished a poor fourth in the lower caucuses and fifth in the New Hampshire primary. But the turn came out with South Carolina, where he won due to the support of the large African American community, and on the third March, Super Tuesday, he won 10 out of 14 states at stake, establishing a sizable lead over the Vermont senator. In Russia, Putin paves way for another presidential term. Russian President Vladimir Putin has not ruled out running for president again beyond 2024, when his term ends. But he told Parliament that the Constitutional Court would first have to approve such a step. Our Prime Minister has proposed resetting to zero the number of presidential terms. Mr. Putin, who is 67 years old, could potentially stay in power until 2036 by winning 2 more 6-year terms. The former Soviet KGB officer has been in power for 20 years. Mr. Putin, however, rejected and as not expedient a different proposal that would simply lift the current prohibition on a president serving more than 2 consecutive terms. By serving as Prime Minister in 2008 to 2012, Mr. Putin remained at the pinnacle of power without violating the 2-term rule. His close ally, Dmitry Medvedev, was president for those 4 years. The amendments addressed by Mr. Putin in his televised speech on Tuesday were put forward by Prime Minister Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman in space and a strong supporter of his presidency. Most prime ministers in Parliament, the Senate Duma, are pro-Putin. they said. However, Russia will hold a public vote on 22nd of April to decide if constitutional changes will go ahead. That could significantly alter the balance of power between the presidency and the parliament. And Kingdom, for God has not given us a spirit of fear. Churches respond with practical solutions to COVID-19 outbreak. In the face of increasing public health concerns over the spread of coronavirus, some Christians are responding with Bible verses like 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 to calm the growing panic. It reads, "For God is not giving us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." But many houses of worship also have practical solutions like adjusting communion practices or live streaming sermons to limit the potential of COVID-19 from spreading through communities of faith. DC officials are urging hundreds of parishioners who attend Christ Church, Georgetown, to self-quarantine after its lead preacher tested positive for coronavirus. The church had already suspended services and activities as a precaution. However, the preacher, Reverend Timothy Collier, remains hospitalized in stable condition in a Washington area hospital, while his wife and 2 kids are in self-quarantine. French megachurch sees salvation as Paris is hit by coronavirus. Officials in France are taking drastic steps to curb the coronavirus outbreak that is disrupting businesses, tourism, and even churches there. France reported 1,126 cases on Sunday, making it the second hardest hit country in Europe after Italy. Retired medics and medical students are being recruited to help deal with growing numbers of infections. However, French Minister Olivier Véran announced Sunday that they are taking stringent measures to try to limit the further spread of the virus. Véran said their priority is to do everything to slow the circulation of the virus across the country. It is the only way to protect those vulnerable and to mitigate the epidemic on a national scale. As of today, all gatherings of more than 1,000 people are now banned. Now on Business Roundup this week, we'll now have Comfort James join us for the analysis. We'll go on a short break now, and Comfort will return with Business Roundup.
Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining, and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1, on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth.
Hello, great people. God bless you. My name is Johnson Suleiman. Happy New Year. The Lord has spoken to us as a ministry that is a year of greater glory and greater works. The Bible said the glory of the latter house shall be greater than the former. God is about to exceed all you've ever seen happen in your life. 2020 is going to be a very massive year for breakthroughs, signs, wonders, inexplainable. I'd like first of all to welcome you to this year, and I pray that the best of your past shall become the least of your future. That this year God will open heavens to you and you shall call for the corn. We speak fruitfulness in all ramifications. As a mandate given to us by the Lord to go around the nations of the earth, we are going to go with our Greater Works Crusade for the year 2020. It's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be massive. We're going to be covering different continents of the world. And I'm going to be believing God that as you partner with me, there's going to be a move of God in your life. For North America, we are going to be coming to Canada, and we're going to be coming to the USA. In Canada, we are going to be in Toronto. Toronto, expect us. We are going to be in Montreal. We are going to be in Edmonton. and we are going to be in Winnipeg. That's for Canada. 4 major massive meetings. Then the United States of America, we will be in Oakland by the grace of God. We will be in Atlanta by the grace of God. We will be in Washington D.C. by the grace of God. We will be in Minnesota by the grace of God. We will be in Las Vegas by the grace of God, and we will be in Alabama by the grace of God. In South America, Greater Works is coming to South America. We will be in Brazil by the grace of God. Please expect us in Brazil. In Europe, we will be in Belgium by the grace of God. We will be in France by the grace of God. We will be in Germany by the grace of God. We will be in London, UK by the grace of God. We will be in Malta by the grace of God. We will be in Austria by the grace of God. We will be in Sweden by the grace of God. We will be in Denmark by the grace of God, and we will be in Spain. Expect us in all those nations in Europe. In the Middle East, we will be in Qatar and also Dubai. In Asia, by the grace of God, we'll be in South Korea. We'll be in Malaysia, and we'll be in China. All this year, God is going to be moving massively. For the African continent, we are going to be in South Africa. By the grace of God, we'll be in Ethiopia. By the grace of God, we'll be in Ghana. By the grace of God, we'll be in Togo. By the grace of God, and we will be in Côte d'Ivoire by the grace of God. Our domestic crusade will also be intensified as we make sure we reach out to our local places in Nigeria. We'll be in FCT Abuja by the grace of God. We'll be in Lagos by the grace of God. We'll be in Kebbi by the grace of God. We'll be in Calabar by the grace of God. We'll be in Abia by the grace of God, and we'll be in Owerri, Imo State by the grace of God, and we'll be in Delta State by the grace of God. Be my guest and be my partner as we take the gospel to the ends of the world. Just imagine all of these crusades cost a whole lot. Let the Lord use you. Free will offerings as you give and become a blessing to the world. The Bible says in Psalm 68:11 that the Lord gave the word, and great was the company that published that word.
Welcome back. I am Comfort James, and this is Business Roundup on Newsdesk. Before the day's stories, here are the headlines making the rounds. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari establishes a committee to assess COVID-19's impact on Nigeria's 2020 budget. Norway risks sinking into its first recession since 2008. U.S. stock rebound slightly amid hopes for government stimulus. Ministry of Petroleum Nigeria engages stakeholders to review mandate and structure of gas aggregation company. McDonald's employees want sick pay, coronavirus safety protocols. Expansion to Industry City gets lift from Brooklyn Borough President. Nigerian women in energy network seek commitment for deepened inclusion in the oil and gas sector. And now to the stories of the day. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari establishes a committee to assess COVID-19's impact on Nigeria's 2020 budget. In response to the spread of COVID-19, Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari has established a committee consisting of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, and Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Mr. Timi Silva, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Mele Kyari, and Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Ikanade Agba, to assess COVID-19's impact on Nigeria's 2020 budget, especially on its effect on prices of crude oil in the global market. The primary task of the committee, under the chair of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, is to assess the impact of the crash in crude oil prices on the size and implementation of the budgets. Now, the committee has, however, briefed President Buhari on Tuesday and subsequently launched into further deliberations with a view to submitting a final report today on what steps should be taken to respond to the emerging complexities. In another news, Norway risks sinking into its first recession since 2008. After a collapse in oil prices added to the fallout of the coronavirus, Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg has said that she is ready to counter the potentially more damaging fallout of an oil crisis if necessary, with the government of Western Europe's biggest petroleum producer, which is also the richest Nordic economy, preparing emergency stimulus measures to fight the effects of the virus on trade and travel. Prime Minister Solberg, while speaking during an interview in Oslo, said if the economy was lower, there could be room to spend more money. Now, she further stated that her administration may need to revise its October budget as assumptions of above-trend growth start to look badly out of step with reality. On Monday, investors dumped the Norwegian krone, sending it down about 5% against the euro into uncharted territory. Handelsbanken, Danske, Norwegian and other Nordic banks now expect Norway's central bank to cut its benchmark rate by at least 25 basis points at its next meeting on March 19. Norges Bank's quarterly regional survey on Tuesday showed economic growth was already slowing before the impact of the virus outbreak and crucially before the disintegration of the production pact between OPEC and Russia blew a hole in the oil market over the weekend. Solberg and her finance minister Jan Tore Sanner has, however, stated at a joint press conference on Tuesday that Norway's government will present emergency measures on Friday, though the details have yet to be spelled out. Measures will target avoiding bankruptcies and firing in sectors hardest hit by the impact of the coronavirus, more specifically airlines, hotels, and parts of the manufacturing industries. And moving back to Nigeria, Ministry of Petroleum Nigeria engages stakeholders to review mandate and structure of gas aggregation company. In anticipation of the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, which seeks to categorize existing oil and gas industry players into policy, regulation and operations concerns, the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Gas Department has taken a proactive measure to engage stakeholders of the Gas Aggregation Company of Nigeria to review the mandate and structure of the company. Now, this is with a view to aligning the company with the realities of the envisaged change from the Petroleum Industry Bill when passed into law in the nearest future. These, the stakeholders believe, will ensure that there is a win-win situation for the nation, the producers and off-takers of Nigerian gas. At a three-day stakeholders engagement review following the one held earlier on 9th of April 2019, the Phase 2 organized by the Gas Department of the Ministry held from 3rd to 5th of March 2020. Stakeholders agree that the present producer-dominated structure with the nominal inclusion of buyers does not make GACN to be properly positioned to play beneficial roles to the owners, the industry, and the nation. Now, presently, GACN, which exists to stimulate growth of natural gas utilization in the Nigerian domestic markets in line with the 2008 Nigerian Domestic Gas Supply and Pricing Regulations, has a structure in which the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has 30%, whilst Chevron, ExxonMobil, Total, Pan Ocean, and Shell have 14 ownership each. The good news here is from the three-day review exercise, it was disclosed by the Chief of Staff to the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum, Engineer Moses Oladayo, who said that the Honorable Minister has received representations on many of the complaints about the status quo in GACN structure and mandates, which the team working on the PIB with the National Assembly has been directed to address. The three-day review meeting was declared open by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Mr. Bitrus Bello Nabasu, who asked the stakeholders to come up with recommendations which will rest all contentious issues concerning the GACN's structure and mandate. Moving forward, Nigerian women in energy networks seek commitment for deepened inclusion in the oil and gas sector. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Malin Silver, yesterday received a high-level delegation of the Women in Energy Network, an apolitical and non-profit organization led by the President Fumi Ogwe and Vice President Amina Mena. This was part of the deliberate effort to align with the International Women's Day activities for the month of March. Now, the group's President Fumi Ogwe, in her opening statement, stated that the essence of the visit was to bring the group's existence into public awareness, while noting that in closing the Nigerian energy gap, there is a need for a structured framework to be wholly adopted, which WEN has yielded itself to developing and implementing. She name-checked WEN as a credible platform that highlights the availability of credible and competent women in the energy sector. Now, this was reiterated by the group's Director of Business Development and Publicity, Charlotte Essiet, who further stated that WEN remains the leading women association that is committed to advancing women's participation in the energy sector. Chief Silver, in his response, name-checked the value that the members of WEN have brought to the sector separately in their individual capacities. He affirmed that women are at the core of the industry, and such powerful associations as WEN will boost and signal the growth of diversity and inclusion in the sector. He lauded the recent top management appointments and deployments undertaken by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, which featured several highly qualified women in the sector. Chief Silver stated that he is a lifetime believer in the competency of women and affirmed his trust that constant improvement in capacity and competence will make inclusion sacrosanct. Chief Silver made a firm commitment to push for the establishment of a women content board similar to the local content board that will work assiduously to emplace and encourage women's participation in the oil and gas sector. The visiting team comprised of its board of trustees members, founding members and core directors. WEN, however, was established in January 2020 to provide a platform for women that work across the energy sector value chain to network and build confidence and links to progress their careers or businesses. And that's it on Business Roundup for today. Back to Ruth Obezige after this break. Welcome to Newsdesk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mars.
Ruth Obozegin.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV Newsdesk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV Newsdesk, the whole truth.
Thank you so much, Comfort. Now on sport, I'm a Yoruba boy. Joshua tells Queen Elizabeth. Anthony Joshua has extolled the virtues of his Nigerian heritage while addressing members of the royal family. During his Commonwealth Day speech at Westminster Abbey on Monday, the 30-year-old British heavyweight boxing champion told the Queen of England, who was in attendance, about pounded yam and egusi, a food commonly eaten among Nigerian people. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, his wife, were also in attendance in what appeared to be their final official appearance as senior royals. Joshua also canvassed for more unity among countries that make up the Commonwealth. According to him, the Commonwealth would grow when people are provided with opportunities based on their abilities without considering their background. Joshua said his name is Anthony Oluwafemi Olusene Joshua, and like many of them here, he is a child of the Commonwealth. He further said he was born in Watford and his heritage is Nigerian. He is a Yoruba boy who are the largest, and some might even say the loudest, ethnic group in all of Africa. He ended by saying he is proudly Nigerian and proudly British. In another sport news, I like Ighalo's strength, says Owen. Former Liverpool star Michael Owen has been impressed with Nigerian striker Odion Ighalo, hailing his impact despite coming on as a late sub in the derby win against Manchester City at Old Trafford. The Red Devils' new acquisition is earning Graf's review after initially suffering undue criticisms after his deadline transfer move to Old Trafford in January. Ighalo followed up his five-star performance in the FA Cup win against Derby by providing the hold-up play that led to United's second goal against rivals City. Ighalo looked at his strength and awareness, says Owen. Owen also said he likes him, he must admit. He thinks he's a great alternative. He further stated that hats off to Mark Tominey because he could have easily sat in midfield, get behind the ball, make sure they don't take any risk. He anticipates it, he leaves his position. Now that's the size of the news today on Celebration Television Newsdesk. But in case you missed out on any of them or you just joined us, here is a recap of our top stories again. Nigeria reps summon Ngige Adamo and ASUU over IPPIS. Ugandans arrested for giving fake coronavirus vaccine. Joe Biden extends lead over rival Sanders in Democratic presidential race. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, churches respond with practical solutions to COVID-19 outbreak. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari establishes a committee to assess COVID-19's impact on Nigeria's 2020 budget. I'm a Yoruba boy, Joshua tells Queen Elizabeth. Now quickly let's take a look at the photo of the day. It reads, not all those who wander are lost. Not all those who wander are lost. Now this quote is for me synonymous to when we say that not everything that glitter is gold. Now you may see people around you like you feel because they go from one place to another in no time. You just feel that okay, it's because they are less busy or they are short of purpose. They do not have what to do. That is why they have the nomadic lifestyle that they have now. By nomadic lifestyle we mean people who live from one location to another in search of whatever. So I like you to know, in my own opinion, that it is not about not having what to do that makes people not have a place of stay particularly, or make them want to leave a place at the moment to the other. Instead of criticizing that this person lacks vision or the person is indecisive, why not just get closer, maybe be a friend or acquaintance, and then ask questions instead of concluding that it is because the person has nothing to do, that is why the person is roaming about. Now that is my opinion about the photo of the day that says not everyone that goes about is, not everyone that wanders is lost. Now send us your own suggestions, your own opinion about this photo using our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're Celebration TV. On Instagram, My Celebration TV. On Twitter, at My Celebration TV. And then on YouTube, Celebration TV. The continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. Now, no matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for you and I and the generations to come. Now, play your part and do it with all diligence. I am Ruth Obozege, and that is Newsdesk today for you on Celebration Television. I am again Ruth Obozege, and goodbye for now. Have a good Wednesday ahead.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
People